Good morning. My name is Shauna, and the title of my Dharma talk is How to Care for Hungry Ghosts. This started as a short journal prompt after one Saturday meditation, and it became a longer contemplation for me the past few months. So October 26th was a regular Saturday. I woke up, normal time, did my usual routine exercises, my mini meditation, ate my normal breakfast. Nothing different than any other Saturday morning before I come to meditation service. Since I was reading from the Red Book in Chapter 7, Timeless Sun, Placeless Sun, I was seated up here at the front on the altar. And what began as an ordinary sit quickly became abnormal. As soon as the final gong was vibrating, my stomach started rumbling and grumbling, and I'm not talking quietly, loud, embarrassing noises. It was almost as I was hungry, and nothing about my routine was different. So I tried to bargain with myself, faulted myself for being human. I know to rationalize it's just my parasympathetic system turning on, but I was still surprised to be dealing with the grumbles on a typical morning. And of course, I was worried about disturbing all of you who were meditating. So instead of letting it go, like we did in Qigong this morning, which would have been the correct choice, I doubled down. I let the thoughts enter. I was already dealing with noise. And I went through all the whys. Why now? Why me? Why can't I relax? Why is it so hard to accept that humans make noise? And why was I hungry? And I was hungry, but I soon realized it wasn't for food. It was for calm, clear energy. This was the first time all week where I was able to sit and be calm. How many of us are hungry for peace, clarity, calm, yet we allow the busyness of the season, of the year, of life, sweep in and keep us starving. Starving for rest, for a sense of ease, for true connection. This time of year is an easy slide. It is a spiral. There are so many expectations between work, the holidays if you celebrate, family. Of course, I have a meditation practice at home, but it is slotted in between all the other to-dos on my checklist. And I often find that I have a tendency to be busy and do not allow myself rest. It drums up some guilt or shame to spend time doing nothing, so I keep moving, going through the motions, and instead of sitting and just being. And then I find myself starving for calm. What do you feed regularly? Have you ever noticed that when you start to feed something negative, these concepts begin to multiply like yeast? The feelings rarely come one drop at a time. Instead, it's the faucet or the fire hose. I wish I could pan for emotion like they did in the gold rush, run myself through a sieve, shake out all the dirt, debris, and dust, and find that one emotion that is awake, the one I can deal with. But they're not discrete chunks. They're amalgams of multiple emotions. It could be shame, regret, overwhelm all at the same time, or even joy, longing, and happiness. The hustle and bustle of this time of year often brings a lot of feelings to light. I now recognize I have to pay extra close attention to my mind practice. There is a concept in Buddhism called the hungry ghost. And learning how to care for one's own hungry ghost is integral to our practice. Hungry ghosts, also known as gaki in Japanese or preta in Sanskrit, are suffering spirits. Traditionally, they have been depicted as having a big belly from starvation, but little narrow throats, so they can't swallow the truth. And therefore, they are never satisfied. It's some great material for spiritual work. If you have ever spent some quality time with our chanting booklet, you may have noticed in the glossary the 6 realms of existence, which are defined as deluded sentient beings cycle through 6 states or forms of rebirth, depending on the balance of their karma. Hell dwellers, animals, restless spirits, hungry ghosts, human beings, or heavenly beings. These are traditionally understood in both literal and metaphorical ways. Metaphorically, they represent the different states of mind we cycle through from moment to moment, depending on our reactions and responses to our changing internal and external circumstances. Master Chongson also wrote about the hungry ghost in Part 2 Dharma Discourses, Chapter 6. A student had asked about the 6 rebirth destinies, and the master replied, "This world, which is constructed as the 6 rebirth destinies in 4 modes of birth, is created and arranged in such divisions by our discriminative minds." He covers the destiny of divinities, the destiny of human beings, the realm of animals, asuras, hells. And he stated that in the realm of hungry ghosts, they seek to receive merit without doing anything to deserve it, and keep panting only for their own reputation, wealth, and so forth. And by understanding this principle that are constructed by our minds, we have the prospect of enjoying the realm of divinities. So, hungry ghosts are often those desires not satisfied. They are the if only mindset, the sense of something's missing out or we're right around the corner, the FOMO, if you will. They can be an unease, a craving, an addiction to wishes, objects, things. A deep hole that needs filling is not easily filled by a hungry ghost. It needs to be filled with acceptance, compassion, and love. So what can you do? How do you care for your hungry ghosts? I find it useful to consider the image of a hungry ghost when contemplating any aspect of the past or emotions that I tend to ruminate with. I cannot simply stuff that hungry ghost filled with truth. I have finally been able to sit down and have a cup of tea, if you will, with several of mine. For a long time, they were like people I would see on a walk or the cashier at my favorite grocery store, and I would nod and offer a greeting. But I had to sit. I had to stay. I had to stop looking away, be silent, and be present. Acknowledge the suffering that went along with this. Talk to them. Create a story, a new story full of truth to break the patterns. I recently wrote an unsent email to a hungry ghost that I've been working to repattern a little, just to get it on paper. And I said, "Dear resentment, I've seen you following me for a decade now, literally stalking. I can feed you to no avail. As no matter how much I give, you are still hungry. You are a bottomless pit, always wanting more, never satisfied, and feeding you keeps me from experiencing joy. I can no longer fit this in my schedule. Today I release, let go, and focus on loving myself. No reply is needed." In a dose of serendipity, just this morning I opened my email, and my tricycle community daily Dharma had a quote that said, "Your body needs you. Your perceptions need you. The wounded child in you needs you. Your suffering needs you to listen and acknowledge it. Go home and be there for all these things," by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a dose of serendipity. Your companion on this journey is self, compassion, and love. Only through acceptance and kindness can we step beyond the hungry ghost. For the last 52 weeks, I have been online or in person here at this temple 50 of those weeks. On January 1st, 2024, I wrote on this neon green piece of paper, Shauna's 2024 intention and resolutions, that I wanted to continue to be unencumbered by thoughts, which I now define as hungry ghosts. And I was going to do it by diving into this temple, my personal development journey in Won Buddhism. Being in the presence here in this community has been a healing balm. Reading and joining in on Dharma discussions has given me personal time for reflection. The connections I have found here have helped me to become a better person. Thank you all. In a TED Talk in 2015, Johann Hari stated that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. Connection, community, Sangha. A recent reading I found shared that the Buddhist tradition emphasizes actively helping those suffering with hungry ghosts. They were not seen as outcasts to suffer alone, but they were given a supportive environment to heal. The key concept that spoke to me is that they were loved back to wholeness by those around them. Amazing concept. Loved back to wholeness by those around them. That is the gift we owe ourselves and each other. Circling back to my original journal prompt, when I was hungry for calm, stomach grumbling, reading chapter 7, the founding master wrote, "Each and every time you are in contact with a sensory condition, do not forget to keep in mind, the thought in mind, that an opportunity for practice has arrived." Hungry ghosts are just that, opportunities for practice. And what we regularly practice is strengthened. Love is always loving you. Back to our true nature, back to wholeness. Thank you.